a little bit of practicing in Aerodisc design. So this is what I've been working on, and I've been making it for the BMW E30. I'm going to use this design basically to snap into the wheel, the center cap. The center cap will snaps out, and this is going to be used to snap in place. And then I'm basically going to use this as an aero disc design that will basically be a wheel cover and will hide the lug nuts and a couple of other things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump in and let's just kind of see if we can build this out together. I'm going to start just with something new, and I'm using Shapr3d on an iPad with an Apple Pencil. It's by far like one of the easiest CAD software designs to use for automotive. And we start off by you can move the grid around. You've got a nice little cube here that you can readjust. If you double tap there, you can zoom in and zoom out. And then we're just going to go into sketch mode. We could select the plane that we're going to go into. And I'm going to start with the circle. So I'm going to start with this part here. And we'll go circle, zoom in here. We're going to start from the center, and the dimensions of that is about 54.8. Then we can zoom out. All right, and so that's going to be basically where this portion snaps into that center hub on the BMW E30 wheel. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to create another design. So I'm going to go, let's go here, and then I'm going to go do an offset. I'm going to pull an offset out. I'm going to do about 2 mm offset, and then I'm going to go there. So this is basically the first circle we're making here, and then I'm just doing an offset, and then I'm going to give this some shape, and then we'll work on making some of the clips. Okay, so now that we have that going, I'm going to do another offset, but I'm going to do, let's see, I'm going to hit this offset edge, and I'm going to go inwards and create that next offset. So that'll be my next ring. And then I can exit the sketch. And so now we have kind of our 3 holes or 3 circles. I can select and I can pull this up. That's about 10. So basically that's creating this first section here. Now, what we can do is we can cut out some of these pieces before we actually do this extrusion here, which is giving it some shape. So you can go back, and just to give an idea of kind of what this looks like, let's see. So we can go back into the sketch mode, go to the top, and I want to have those cutouts, and so I can do rectangular. I can start from the center, and then let's see, that's probably good. I don't know, let's try maybe 8. Okay, and then we'll create another shape here. I'm gonna cut into that guy, make that 8. Okay. And now what I can do is I can start to cut this out. So I can hit the trim tool here, and I can, oops, basically delete what I don't want. And now the other thing I want to do really quick too, though, is let's go back, get rid of that. We'll do another offset. Oh, let's see. Oh, try that again. All right. Double tap. Well, not that one. I just want this one here. Let's see. Zoom in. Let's see. I'm trying to see if I can create another offset. So if I do that, do offset, pull that in. That might not work. That's fine. Let's just do this. We can do, Let's grab this here. And just start deleting some of this. So I'm going to delete that, that. Really what I'm after is this little shape right here. So we can get rid of those. All right, get rid of all these. Come in here, get rid of that. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. There we go. And I like it just, I mean, it's really easy to use. I mean, as you can see, it's really quick and easy just to make changes. So at this point, now I'm just making the section here for where these little tabs can exist. And let's see. So I want to have a spacing in between. So here you can see there's kind of like a little space in between. And this didn't work out too well. So I want to try to redesign this so when it snaps in, it just snaps in a little bit better. Um, so let's see what we can do here for that. And so for that little gap, if you zoom in, let's see, and we're at 0.5. I don't know if you can see that, but I can just draw a line here and then an inner line on all these. And then what I could do is I could trim again. And then I'll be able to extrude this up and this one up as well. And that'll give me this little part here. So 0.5. So each of these squares shows you the measurement up here, 0.5. So as I zoom in, I can just, whoop, that's not what I wanted to do. Shapr3d also makes it kind of easy to just go back. There's a back button there. I'll just set it to line so that way I'm not accidentally creating a shape there. What app is this? This is Shapr3d, and you can actually download the free version and do all of the stuff that I'm doing here with the free version. The biggest thing with the free version versus the paid version is when you do your export, your resolution is a little bit lower, but it's not that bad if you just want to go ahead and play around with it. I mean, I think it comes out to like 25 bucks for the paid version a month, which is well worth it if you're going to be doing all kinds of different designs. So, but I mean, if you want to play around with it, you can. It's supported for Windows and Mac as well, and also the iPad with the Apple Pencil. I don't think it supports Android. Somebody had asked before. Unfortunately, I don't think they have Android support. So get rid of that. Oh, I forgot one more. So come down here. I could have made lines all the way through, but I mean, I'm just kind of, freehanding here, just doing some practice designs and wanted to share with y'all just, kind of how easy it is to just use the application. Okay, so now that I have kind of my basic shapes here, right? So I've got that shape, I've got the circle, then I've got the clips, then I can exit the sketch and play around with giving some actual shape. So if I select there and tap on, well, not that, just untap. And when you select all that, you can see that little arrow that's popping up. That's the extrude tool that automatically gets selected. And the cool thing is with the extrude tool, you really don't have to think about it too much. You just select out of the sketch mode, and then now you can basically give your parts some shape. So I can't remember exactly what that measurement was. I think it was, let's just go 8 for now. Okay. And then we want to give our bottom shape here. So let's see. All right. So now I can flip over to the other side. If I select that, but I don't want to do just that one. I actually want to do. Um. Oh, let's see. So basically, before I did the extrude, let me, you know what? The last time I did this, what I did is I just created another circle and then I extruded. But I'm just curious, like, let me just play around with this a little bit. So what if I turned off? No, that's just turning, those are the bodies that I created. Okay, so the sketch, when I created everything on the same sketch. But there's a little there's an easy way to get around that. I'm just trying to see if there was a better way to do it. Just go to bottom, and I can do another circle, doo, 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 same size circle, and then I can do, let's see. I want to move that circle down. No, I just wanted the one circle, not all of the circles. Yeah, let's go back here. Right. Okay. There we go. Okay. Is that the right one? Let's see. Let's go move. And then, yeah. Oh, it had those selected too. Oh, it's gonna be stubborn like that. I think I did so the last time I did that, I think what I did is let's see. Let me see. Where's my circle? Is that the circle? Okay. There it is. Okay. Let's see. All right, exit. Let's see, that's the top circle that I created, 54.8. Get rid of that one. Let's see. I don't want to move it. What I want to do is make that 54.8. That's the center. Okay, so let's see. Let's try to give this some shape now. So we can go select that, exit. That's what I wanted. Okay, change the position with the square. There we go. All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, so this is what it kind of looks like now. Someone designed Shapr3d. Yeah, I really like it. I mean, compared to everything else that we used, I mean, this it seems like it's the easiest one for me to at least pick up, especially like if I'm working in the garage, right, and I want to get some measurements. Usually I draw stuff down first, but if I have to go back and make measurements, it's just easy, like just taking this into the garage, doing some measurements, and then just going in here. You can go into the history, you can kind of go backwards if you've done tons of stuff. So on the initial measurements, maybe I did a ton of different things, at the desk, and then I do a prototype, and it's like, okay, it's a little off. I can just literally take this with me to the garage and then just do an edit and just double check while I'm using the caliper measuring tool, and then I could just come in here and just really quickly edit on the fly, and that's what makes it really easy. I can see the and ease of use. That makes it, yeah. uh, yeah. I think it was a good reason for me to get an iPad with an Apple Pencil. it and Yeah, it's pretty fun. I mean, it's definitely worth. I mean, I can now say I have something that really uses the iPad and the Apple Pencil. I was just doodling and doing other stuff before. Which one is this? Oh, I think so. Isn't the original, like the original iPad Apple Pencil? I want to say it's like one of the. I think it's like 2 years old. I don't remember off the top of my head. Um, but yeah, I have to put that in the actual application. Wow, okay, cool, thanks, appreciate it. All right, so yeah, let's try to get the rest of the design going so you can see more of how this works. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is let's try to create. Let's do this. Let's try to. So I'm gonna select, go to the bottom, and now I'm gonna draw the actual shape of the arrow disc. So my 3D printer is 256 by 256. It's a Bamboo Lab X1C. I'm also using an A1. Just this was prototype in PETG. So final print will be in ASA. So what we can do is go into sketch mode, create our circle. And so I want to say that's 200. I could probably go like 250 and be okay. So there we go. All right. And then if we exit the sketch, select, and then we can just, again, extrude. Whoa, that's way too big. So you can either, stretch up, stretch down with the little arrow tool, or you can just pop in the number that you want there. And that's kind of cool. Oh no, I say the fruit bat have many issues with it. Oh, really? Um, yes, you can. You can have problems with ASA if you, especially if you don't have an enclosure. So, like with the X1C, it has the enclosure. I heat up the bed to I think it's like 100 C. First, I heat up the bed, let it heat up, and then before I start the print. So I like to get the printer nice and warm because it doesn't have a heated chamber. If you have a heated chamber, ABS ASA is pretty good. But I think, preheating it and then running at the highest heat settings. I use the built-in filament profile from Bamboo Lab, and I've actually had pretty good results with it not peeling, not warping. I do sometimes also add a brim to the part too, but I mean, because this is circular, just in nature, it doesn't warp as easy as like if you have a sharp corner. Yeah, yeah, I know. Yeah. Do you dry it? Yes, I dry all my filaments, based on the recommended manufacturers as well. So yeah, that's definitely something that I would recommend. Get yourself a filament dryer. If you have an enclosure, you can dry in the printer, but it takes forever. So all right, so the next thing we're gonna do is maybe just draw this is this really isn't functional. This is more style, by the way. So hopefully, don't hate on it too much, but the arrow discs, right, these aren't really fins. I want to make these a little bit smaller, so let's see if we can make them smaller and make them more like fans that kind of pop up, and then we'll go from there. Yeah, you have the X1C. Okay, yeah. So I think, yeah, I mean, a little bit of tuning probably, and ASA will probably work okay for you. I've been able to get it to work okay. All right, so what I do now is for this part, I'm actually going to like draw that little fin. So let's see. So that's one block is 1 minute. So this is where you kind of like, okay, so 200 and what did I say? 250. So we're playing around with 256 on the printer size. So I can't go too far out. So I'll probably just do, let's see. So if I go in here, I'm probably gonna do what? Probably just 2 millimeters. Nice. It's just pretty weird. Not sure if I need to dry it more. Yeah, I would say I kind of use, you can go with like the lower cost filaments, but I just stick with Bamboo Lab for everything. It might be a little bit more expensive, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I just like using what they have, and the built-in settings seem to work pretty good. Like I said, I think I just increased the heat to the max, and you can also get um oh, I don't have it here. Oh, wait, hold on. Hold on one sec. So I just bought this, and from what I heard, it really helps. So this is maybe something else you can try. I haven't tested it yet, but I've seen a lot of good reviews. This nanopolymer adhesive. So I want to try using this with the 3D effect plate. When you use a 3D effect plate, ASA just like does not like sticking on that at all. So I'm going to give this a try and see how that works. But if you're having problems with like ASA or ABS peeling up, you might be able to give this a try. It wasn't too expensive. Found it on Amazon. They got some pretty cool stuff on their channel too. What am I making? Trying to just make this aero disc. So it's kind of oh, can't really say it. So for BMW E30, the bottle cap wheels, this is gonna pop right in there, and then just kind of, close the lug nuts. Kind of more fashionable than functional at this point, but we'll see. All right. Okay, so let's see if I can try to get this. Okay, so I'm gonna try to draw this. So we'll go two, we'll go up, and then let's see. Okay. So basically, what I'm doing next is I'm trying to, draw that up, out, up. This one I felt like it was too far out, so I'm gonna be a little further in, and I'm gonna try to make it a little bit thinner, and then make it higher to give it kind of more of that fan effect, and we can maybe even curve it as well. Uh, okay, so let's give this a try. So we're gonna go from here all the way down. There we go. There we go. And then we'll go up. And then we'll maybe something like that. Something like that. Something like that. Okay. So to get the fan effect, I can maybe let's go here. Let's maybe try to pull this up a little bit. So if um I just want to see what happens here. It's a little bit harder because I'm like in this orientation instead of this way. So I'm like, oh, it's much easier to use if you have it flipped this way. But I'm doing it like this so you can see what's going on. The verticals, I mean, people just like, if you're hanging out on your phone, it's just easier to watch this in vertical. All right, so let's see. So if let's crank this up. Let's say, what if I go, there we go. Okay. Now there is the height, like when this gets snapped on, there's down here the rim, you know, to the actual fin. So I can only go so high, but I'm pretty sure I had plenty of clearance to go up a little bit more there. But let's see how it looks. All right. So there's our first fin. And then now if we click on this, and then we have the extrude, and there's a different option here where you can go one-sided, so that will just go out on one side, or you can select and do symmetric. So now it kind of pulls out from both sides, which is kind of cool. So -1, so that means it's like 2. So that looks kind of neat. All right. So now let's see if we can do the fins here. I'm trying to figure out how many are here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Oh, 18. I couldn't remember. So now what we can do is we can double click this guy. And then we can go, let's go to top view. And this is where Shapr3d gets really interesting. So I want to create this and go around. So there's this pattern tool here you can select, and this point of rotation. So here, that's not where I want to do the pattern. So what you do is you just move that to the center, and then now I can create this pattern around like that. And then I can just click on here and do 18. I think it was 18, was it? Yeah. Boom. Yes. I think that's, check that out. This is what I like about Shapr3d because it's just so easy to like do these really cool things. And then you hit done. And then there we go. Yeah, so that's definitely better. So here, way too wide. So they're just kind of like little nubs. And then you can just, right now, we can actually, right, have some fins. It's kind of what it's looking like. All right. Cool. I'm liking that. I think I like that. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to create the clips. So I didn't do a didn't do a really good job here. It's hard to see, but basically these will act like little clips, and I don't want them to break. So this is why I have the thickness there. But I need a little bit more of a bump out so that this locks in the place a little bit better. The first design I made, they were too, I think, too wide. And so when I tried to force it in, it just snapped off some of them. So I'm still trying to play around with the correct design. So let's see. There's a couple ways you could do this. So one way is you can maybe kind of do the same thing. You can maybe draw something on the outside and then rotate it around, kind of the exactly what I did here. But what I think what I'm gonna try to do is just play. Maybe I could play around with this. So maybe what I could do is let's see. So maybe so if I rotate this, so this would help to snap. So imagine like so this would have to have some play in order for this to snap in, but that would probably just break off. So what I'm thinking, let's see, what if I do I think that's kind of slow. Something like that. Give it like a little roundness. So as this is getting inserted into the center cap of the wheel, let's see. Kind of like that almost. Hmm, that might work. That might work, yeah. Or I'm just kidding. It might need to be, let's see, how far can I go? If I go further, it kind of gets smaller. Check that out. So interesting. So I might be able to do, but I think I need the bump to be down a little bit further. So I can put the roundness there. I kind of want to remember what I'm doing here. So I did what, 10 degrees tilted, and then 2. What if I'm just curious, what if I select this here? No, zoom in a little bit. So if I bring that down, that gets the bump a little bit lower, but then it's not as big. Or if I select here, that makes the bump. Oh, there we go. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, because the problem I ran into is the bump. Let's see, it like barely protruded. You can see the mark where it was rubbing to kind of lock it in, but it was a little bit wobbly once I set it in. So for the arrow disc to snap in a little bit better, I think this bump just needs to be out a little bit more. I think that might do it. Now the other challenge is, right, you don't want this to kind of just snap off. So let's see. I'm just curious. So that's 2. I just want to see what happens. I can go to 3. 3. And then what I did on this design is I kind of gave it, sorry, it's hard to see, a little bit of like a little bit of curve. So here, oh, no, not that one. Let's see. Can I select that? So the reason it's not pulling out and into the part is because it's kind of what I would have to do. Let me show you real quick. So I'd have to combine these, like combine this with this. Some of these are not like there's a function called, let me see. So if I select this, let's see. I have to start selecting the body and then make a union. But I think what I want to do before that, I'm just curious really quick. So I don't remember all the things I did with that one. I can go in the history and look, but I'm going to just try something really quick because we're just practicing here. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to delete it. And then I'm going to select this one. So before I do the other stuff that I want to do, let me see. There we go. All right. So let's try this. We're going to go top. And then we're going to do copy. Move that guy over. And then rotate. Okay, turn copy off. Oh, I forgot to turn copy off. Let's try. I always forget that. That's one thing I forget to do is I forget to turn the copy off. So you double click. Ah, okay. Get out of there. All right, double click. Top view. Copy. Move it on over. Now, when you let it go, if you move it again, it'll make another copy. So I got turn copy off. There we go. All right. Now we're cooking. And then I can move that. There we go. Bingo. Okay, cool. I think 2 are okay. When I tried doing 4, it kind of was really hard to snap in, and then it just so I think maybe, as I'm pushing this in, I can do 1 and then 2. So kind of like I don't have the wheel. I'm not in the garage, but if I was, you could see what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna do a full video on this soon, so you get all the details. All right. So, I mean, I could just leave these here, but I mean, it's kind of like extra material that would have to be printed. So that's the other thing too. When you're thinking about printing this out, like I try to like, all right, don't need that. Um, don't need that. Anything I don't need, I just blow away. Okay, and then what we can do to thicken those, I'm gonna go, let's see, body, let's see, this body. Yeah, that body, and there we go. And then I can select those and say union, done. Okay, so now that those are one body, I should be able to come in here, select that, bingo, there we go. So this is where when you're 3D printing stuff, if you want something to flex, you can do it, but what'll happen is if it's really tall and thin, because the layer adhesion is so small, so it's literally, what is that? I think that was 2 millimeters, right? This could snap really easy. So you want to have a little bit of wiggle room when it's going in, but then you don't want it so much where it just like snap and break. So what I found to be easy to do is just kind of to increase the layer adhesion from the very bottom, and then it kind of gradually goes up. So I'm using Shapr3d. Yeah, it's an Aerodisc design that I'm making for the BMW E30 build. So this was the original one, recreating it, trying to make it like actually function as an Aerodisc. It'll snap into BMW E30 wheel. So this will snap into the center of the wheel cap. There's like a wheel cap that comes off, and then this right now I'm creating just the snap in. So that's kind of what I'm going through right now. Is as you just imagine this being inserted here, right? You want a little bit of wiggle room, but you don't want this piece just to snap off. All right, so then R5, and then I could come over here, select that. Ooh, not that. I want to select, nope, not that. Not that either. Okay, that. There we go. And then I could just go 5, like so. Yeah, it does seem like it's too much, but I've had some success with it. I mean, I can, and again, I mean, you could test it, right? So, what I found is that if it's about 2 millimeters, I mean, especially depends on what you're snapping it into. Um, I've done this with like radio delete plates and stuff with other clips, and it seems to just make them a bit more sturdy. Like you've got a little bit of flex here, but not where you like accidentally push it too much and it just like snaps off. So this is kind of like the extra, I would say, protection of you just like if you do it too hard, you have a little bit more layered adhesion here just to help it out. But I'm open. Hey Fred, what's going on? I didn't even notice that was you. Thanks for joining. What's the software? Shapr3d. Yeah. So almost done. But yep, that's oh, that you kind of don't want. So I mean it kind of looks cool, but when you're 3D printing, if you want to print this flat, right? Like print that flat on the print bed with the cool, you got the print bed with you can get the design of the print bed on here, but I just noticed that this is overhang. So what would happen here, I always explain it like, you're trying to ice a cake, right? So like here's the cake. You're icing. And then if you keep on going with the icing, what happens? It just falls over because the icing on the cake, like there's nothing to hold it, right? So same thing with the 3D printer. It'd be like, hey, I'm printing the layer line, right? And then it'd go, and then once it got right to here, it'd be like, oh, I need to have some supports. And so you would then have to add supports. And then whenever you do supports and you have in 3D printing with the supports up to when you pull it off, it just kind of looks ugly. And I don't have like a dual extruder printer to have like two different materials and all that not jazz. But what you want to do is just, pull that down. That's what that, and that'll just be clean like that. Now, what you can do is, yeah, hey, what's going on? You're I don't know what time it is for you. What time? Oh, maybe it's early for you, right? I'm in Eastern time. So what you can do with a 3D printer, if you have like the A1 or even the X1C, is you can load like ASA. I've done this with like two colors. I put in black ASA and then white ASA, and you can actually create like, if you want to put, let's see, if you wanted to put some sort of design, like if you wanted to put some, I don't know, some lines in here or even maybe BMW, and then you can color in your slicer software if you have multicolor support, you can select like what color, say, I don't know, maybe I'm just giving an example, but like if I had some other shapes or text on here, you can select the text to be like white and then the rest of the part to say be black. I mean, it does waste more filament, but it actually is kind of cool. I did a hitch plate, hitch delete plate, and then I just did this really cool like F-150 design into it. So it's kind of cool. I think I might do something like that for this, but you'll have to wait for the full video to see how that comes out. All right, so let's see, what else can we do here? Oh, so I think the last part is probably just, another design so you can create in between there. So if we wanted to create another design into your aero disc, you can maybe come up here. Let's see. So we'll go back to sketch and then can do like a rectangle. Oops. I have it set to center from the last time I was doing something. So let's see. So if we want to just, um, maybe, I don't know. Let's see. 30. I don't know. We'll see how that looks. So there's a couple ways you can do this. The best way probably if you're going to like replicate this design kind of all the way around like that is to create your curves in there. If not, what you know, kind of the other way, the late well, I don't know if it's lazy, but so oh, I didn't draw that out. That's fine though. I can just kind of punch that through anyways. So all right, so like one way, oh, actually before you punch through, you'd want to make this a pattern. This is Shapr3d with an iPad and Apple Pencil. So what you can do is do. Okay, select that pattern, bring that down here. I think there's 18 if I remember. Yep, do like that. Okay, and then oh, I got 'em, I have them all selected. Can I just move them? Yep, I could. I could move them. Get out of that view. Close the items. That's still not on there, but I mean that's fine. But then let's see. There's another way to do this. I just to select these. That's the thing when you're starting to do. There's like other tricks to do a multi-select. Let me just go top view. If we select all these, and you zoom in some more. Bop, 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 bop. And then you can do like that. Now, I don't know if I like that. I think maybe I think I made it diagonal. Yeah, I did make a diagonal on that. You can go back to the history. I can show you how to do that. But if you wanted to say give these round corners, this is where like if you didn't do the round corner initially on the drawing, this is where you'd have to like go and I don't know a multi select edit way to do this. If anybody knows, let me know. But I'll find a way eventually. But you can put kind of your roundness like that. Or maybe what I could have done before I did the punch through, maybe I could have what is the software? Shapr3d. Shapr3d. So yeah, I mean, what you'll find is when you're doing any CAD design, any ones that I've used, there's always like way more than one way to do anything, is what I found. So yeah, so right now I'm creating that. You can put it so if all the curves were put in there and then you did the slant, right? And then you punched it through, then that would carry through. So like right now, you know, the design that I, you know, did, you know, I'd have to do like I'd have to go and select every one. But let me just see really quick. What if I go into the history and what if you could start changing things. So like if you wanted to change that size, so like look at that, it changed all of them. You can with the history, so you can kind of like go back and change stuff and then it'll make the change for all of the shapes. So that's kind of cool. I'm wondering if I can what if I do this? Sorry, it's hard to see because I'm kind of in the horizontal view here, so I'm running out of space. But let's see. So if I did the sketch there, eh, let's see. can I change? Oh no, it's changing the dimension. I was gonna just see if I can start playing around with the different dimensions. But yeah, I mean, if you go back and you start like readjusting certain things, then hey, what's up? Then it can make changes to all. So like for instance, if we wanted to make, let's see if we can find something here. Let's see. So the sketch. Here we go. This, if we wanted to make these wider, whoa, yeah, see, that's kinda how I did it the first time. I just thought that just too wide. But you can go back and you can readjust, right? And it readjusts everything. So that's what's really neat about being able to go back in the history. I think they call it like parametric modeling, I believe is what it's called. And let's see, we can also, I'm just curious, let's see if we can, so if we went back to the history, let's go, where was that? Where was I? You can, oh, that's the pattern. Extrusion, sketch, extrusion. I was gonna see if there was a way to change that for all of them. Because the next thing that I want to do, bonjour, hey, hello, bienvenidos. So if we wanted to like make these like functional, we could like start to do, I don't know, maybe something like that. You can kind of play around with like kind of what you might want to do to make this like functional Aerodisc. Let's see. I'm just gonna, what happens here? So maybe, there you go. Kind of like that. So I kind of messed this one up, but I think this one's coming out much better. There you go. And I want to say that this one took about a little under 4 hours to print, but the infill is pretty low. But I mean, for what this is for, I think it's 5. I think I went 5% infill just so I can get it to print quicker. But I mean, actually for 5%, I'm actually surprised on how sturdy this is. But this is just a prototype. This is Pet G. I'll do the final one in ASA. Yeah, so if you're interested, follow along, and then there's information in the video description. I have tons of other models that you can download. So the other models that I've done are a shifter. So this is kind of just a 3D printed design shifter using some of the same things, the pattern tool and some of the other tools to create this. This is for an E30. So the shifter goes in pretty far here, the shifter knob. So the shifter knob is what's primarily keeping the strength of this. And then I was working on just a little notch here. So the E30, the way it works, it's not actually a screw in, but there's a notch, like a little bump out that just like locks this in place. If I needed a screw in, I would probably do something like this. I'm probably going to do another video on that. So, like, if you look inside this, you can do that with the section view. I'd probably put like do a nut insert in here, like an actual nut. So, and then pause the print, throw the nut in there, and then let the print continue, and then actually have like a nut or something inside the design. I think that might be the best way to go if for folks that um, might have a little bit something different. But yeah, so I've also done like spark plug wire holder replacements. That's a really easy design that you can find. Basically, I give all these away for free. So anything that you're looking for, the radio delete plate. So if you're looking to do radio delete plate, this is a very simple one. You can just download it and then you can just modify the dimensions. And then these are for nightlight switches. So you've got the inserts for that. Or what you could do is you could just, again, go through the history and get rid of wherever that is, that shape is the extrude for that. Oh, I was playing around with this one. It's all kind of goofed up. But you can get rid of the extrusion going through there, and then you can just do your own custom cutouts, or you can just add your own. Let's see what else we got. We also have, this is from the workshop. So this is just like, let me see if I can find it real quick. Just a design that kind of is a starter design that can fit in anybody's car. So this is just, it goes in the cup holder, and then it just has a bunch of inserts for putting different things into it. So my Leatherman, hand sanitizer, whatever. So it's just kind of a cool design that anybody can do and works pretty much for every car. So, because, everybody has cup holder. So, and then there's just other plates. Like, so if you have little tiny plates that you're looking at wanting to do, this was just me playing around with some of the inserts, but we've got this. Here's a good one here. So this is the little clips, just another design of a clip. Again, just a little bit wider there on the bottom for more layer adhesion at the bottom so they don't snap as easy. And then just you can change that insert. So I'm going to do a full video. Oh, here's the original design. So that's the first design of the Aerodisc, but I'm going to do a full video on this. I don't know, hopefully people will take a look at it. I thought it was kind of interesting design, but I think it's just a kind of unique flair that, you can put on your ride by 3D printing. And yeah, so comment, let me know what else you're looking at, and then we will go for the next one. All right, thanks for joining. See everybody.